Welcome back to Prime News at 7 as we're going to be starting a new segment here, and we're going to be having it from time to time throughout the year. We're going to call it Set to Hook because we're going to be talking fishing, and we have the experts here with Set to Hook host Pat Rose and his co-host Darren Gallaher. Thank y'all for coming,
Hey,
guys.
man, thanks for having us.
You
Pleasure
know,
to be here.
You know, the weather's getting cooler, and the leaves are turning, and a lot of folks are thinking, well, I'm going to put my fishing pole up, and I'm going to get out my hunting rifle, and that's fine, but you know what? There's still fish to be caught, aren't there?
Man, I'm going to tell you what. Get on the water. Get on the water. Don't put those fishing poles up yet. This is what I want to talk about, and then Darren's going to hit wintertime fall fishing. This is called the kicker fish exploding toad. And where we live on Chickamauga and Nickajack, we got grass covering up. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
We got grass covering up. What you want to do is throw this thing on top of the grass, look for them bare spots, and when you hit that bare spot about midday, you're going to get blowed up. I'm going to tell you what, it's going to scare the crap out of you.
Do you reel it in moderately, or do you just reel it?
Keep them legs flipping.
So you want to keep it action. You want the action.
Man. You want the action. That's key, Patrick. That's key.
Mm-hmm. So that's a great lure for the fall, and the weather cools down. That tends to make the fish behave a little differently as well, right, Darren?
You know it does. The bait starts moving back in the shallow pockets, and you know a lot of folks think, well, it's getting cold, I need to stay deep, but reality, that's pulling your bait up there. And you know, you're talking about the cooler weather. A 10-inch worm is still a great bait to catch a lot of fish on this time of year. A lot of guys put that away. What you have to realize, there's those thousands of minnows in there, but the fish have to have something different where they can key on it. You know, you can throw a bait that looks realistic, maybe not get a lot of bites, so you've got to go out of that box just a little bit.
You know, that 10-inch worm's always a winner. I was using an 8-inch worm in the creek where I fish in, and right before the cool weather set in, we had a 75-degree day. I went floating down the creek, and I tell you what, that worm is a dependable lure, and it has been for 40 or 50 years.
It does, and like I say, go outside the box, change the color up, be a little different, and you'll catch a lot of fish this time of year.
Yeah, and you know, they always ask, where'd you catch these fish? And I said, I caught some of them on the left side of the mouth, some of them on the right side of the mouth.
Exactly.
But fishing can be great, but sometimes they can be finicky, especially when you're fishing for different things, not only bass, but crappie.
Absolutely, and you know, people have to realize whether you're in the lakes, the rivers, the creeks, the ponds, it's still the same fish. Understand, study how they move seasonally. You got to understand those seasonal habits. They're going to eat, they're going to rest, they're going to ambush prey. You've got to understand that, and then the other part is actually catching's really the easy part. You know, it's the science of finding, locating, and getting them to bite. That's the hard part of this.
And right now, this time of year, they're going to come up shallow, they're going to go back deep. They're going to come up shallow and go back deep. When that water gets cold, they're gone. You can still catch them, but they're gone.
And sometimes you have to experiment.
Exactly.
So you have to find a fish. Sometimes they're not in just a foot of water. They can be in 5 foot, 6 foot, and I guess with different fish, they are in different types of...
That's when you got to work for them. You got to pay attention to your bite.
Absolutely.
The bite tells you a lot. Is it going to be deep? Is it going to be shallow? When they bite, pay attention to that. Next fish, pay attention to that. Same thing, right there.
It is, exactly. You know, even throwing a crankbait, or even his frog, for example, the way they're hitting it, are they really eating the bait, or are they pinching the legs off of it? That tells you, do we need to do a color change or slow a bait down or something? And that right there is key in catching fish consistently. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Now, y'all are the professionals, and y'all do guides, so if people do not know a whole lot about fishing and just want to try it out, y'all are the people to check up with, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. I've been with this cat for about 2 years now, and we do Set the Hook with Pat Rose. I'm the greenhorn at this, but I'm going to tell you what, I have learned so much from this cat right here as far as fishing, man. He fishes the freaking national tour, the whole deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a good fisherman.
And you host a show every Saturday?
Every Saturday morning.
Set the Hook. Don't, you know, it's on several different radio stations, including 105, and we'll be on with this series hopefully every couple of 3 months. Stay tuned, though. More Prime News at 7 coming up.